Welcome to the IMCP Profiles and Partnership, the podcast that showcases how Microsoft partners and IMCP members boost their business by collaborating with other members and partners. I'm your co-host, Anthony Carano, and in each episode I'll be talking to some of the most innovative and successful partners in the Microsoft ecosystem. The International Association of Microsoft Channel Partners, otherwise known as IAMCP, is a community of Microsoft partners who help each other grow and thrive. Members can find and connect with other partners locally and globally and access exclusive resources and opportunities. Whether you're looking for new customers, new markets, or new solutions, IMCP can help you achieve your goals. We'll hear their stories, learn from their experiences, and discover the best practices and strategies they use to increase customer loyalty and grow revenue. Whether you're a new partner or an established one, you'll find valuable insights and inspiration in this podcast. We hope you enjoy this podcast and find it useful and inspiring. If you do, please subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on social media and connect with us on our website, www.profilesandpartnership.com, where you can find more information, resources, and opportunities to partner for success. Thank you for listening, and now let's get started with today's episode. Hi, everyone. So in today's episode, we had a few technical issues, so audio isn't where we'd like it to be, but I think the content is really valuable, so I wanted to share it with you all anyway. I'm really grateful for our guest and our conversation and excited to share it with you. And now today's episode. Before we dive into our interview, let me ask you a few questions. How are you positioning yourself as a partner in the Microsoft community? Another way to think about it is like if you were to ask 100 partners about your brand, what would they say? As a Microsoft partner and member of the IMCP, how do you find and develop partner relationships that will help you grow your business? Finding the right partner can be challenging, but can also be very rewarding. In fact, according to a channel partner profitability study, Microsoft partners derive margins 19% higher than the next closest competitor. That's a huge difference, and it shows the power of partnering. So how do you leverage the Microsoft Partner Network and IMCP to support your partnerships? And how do you ensure success for your customer? These are some of the questions we'll explore in this podcast with the help of our guest, a recent P2P award winner who is also an expert in partnering. He'll share stories, challenges, and successes and give you practical tips and advice on how to partner for success. Are you ready to join us on this journey? Then stay tuned because we have a great show for you today. Our guest is Suresh Ramani, the CEO of TechGyan, a 3-time Microsoft Worldwide Partner of the Year award winner and preferred Microsoft partner with expertise in social, mobility, analytics, and cloud computing technologies. Let's hear what he has to say. Welcome, Suresh, to the podcast today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Well, why don't you start off and tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in the company?
Absolutely. So my name is Suresh Ramani. I'm the founder, CEO of TechGyan. TechGyan is actually in Sanskrit, in the language Sanskrit. Gyan means knowledge. So essentially, TechGyan is a play with knowledge of technology. I founded the company in 2001. So in 2000, so it went on pretty okay, like a normal systems integrator. 2007, I was nominated by Microsoft as a partner area lead. That was a community they started in 2007. So I was the only PAL from Asia, and that was my first experience of WPC. Back then, it was not Inspire; it was WPC, Worldwide Partner, and it was in Denver. So Denver was my first WPC. And incidentally, 2007, same year, we won our first Worldwide Partner of the Year award also. So that was a very special year. 2008, I attended my second WPC, right? And that was again because I was a PAL there also. And 2009, I was nominated as a MVP, Microsoft MVP for Small Business Server. So that's a small background of our company. Yeah, if there are any specific things which you want me to talk about, I'll definitely.
Yeah, well, I love the fact that talking with the founder. So why did you start the company?
I was working in a couple of companies, and most of them were like, these hardware kind of thing, offering PCs and printers and laptops. I felt that is not the way you do solutions for your customers. Okay, if I'm going to just dump the iron, that's not the way things will work. And somehow, I was always fascinated by Microsoft. I'll tell you that. I remember when Windows 95 was launched, I was so excited that wherever I was working, I kind of used to call customers and show them that. So I felt that there is some magic about solutions and Microsoft specifically. Okay, so I said I need to go in that direction. That's kind of the thought which made me go into starting my own. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I know, I mean, you've had just a lot of success. I know in addition to, I know you were the three-time Microsoft Worldwide, Partner of the Year award winner, but also, congratulations, because I know here just recently you were the solution, the P2P award for the solution providers. You were the APAC winner, but you're also a global finalist, for that IMCP P2P award. So congratulations.
Thank you. And this is actually the third global award which we are getting from IMCP. So that's
Oh,
something,
wow. Okay.
yeah, we love that fact, absolutely. And more than anything else, what the awards, what they really do is that they tell you that, okay, you are on right track, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And whenever I do my blog post or whatever about the awards, my blog post always ends with with more awards, you get more responsibility. That's Spider-Man kind of a thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's how it is. So essentially, awards keep telling you you are doing good stuff, which people are liking,
Uh-huh.
and you need to kind of now come up to their expectations, which
Yeah.
have gone higher. That's the whole thought process.
Well, I know we're looking forward to getting into that story, here in a minute. But before we do, because I know you share a little bit about your company, but tell us, when did you join the IMCP?
Oh, so I should say I don't. No, I didn't join IMCP. I started IMCP. Okay, so let me tell you how it happened. 2008, I went to attended my second WPC, right? And back then, in the WPCs, IMCP always used to have these stalls, these booths essentially. So I kind of went there, and the people said, okay, this is a community. It does A, B, C, D, E. When they asked my background, they realized that I won my worldwide award last year, and and I was also a partner area lead for Asia. They said, since you are already doing community work, would you want to consider, starting an IMCP chapter in India, because we want to start something there. I
Hmm.
said, give me some details. Let me figure out what I need to do. So 2008, when I came back, I was thinking about it, what I need to do. And I felt, yes, there is something which we can do. A community can be very useful, right? And that was a time in 2009, I also was awarded as an MVP,
Hmm.
Microsoft MVP for Small Business Server. So I said, now MVP also is community, right? At the end of the day, MVP is not because of your technical excellence, it's for the community work you do. So then this whole thought process started. Let me start this. I started the community chapter in Mumbai in 2009. And that's how the whole thing started. Initial years were very, very tough because the concept of partnering, concept of P2P, concept of community, totally lacking in India. So it was tough, but one thing I was very clear, I will keep doing events, keep doing events, keep doing events. So I went on doing events, probably 8, 10 events a year. And slowly the community went on building. So in 2018-19, we felt that we were ready to form a legal body. So we formed a legal body in 2019. And once the legal body was formed, we formed an all India legal body. We did our first annual event in Mumbai. So it was a 1 day event.
Wow.
Yes, and we were so afraid because we booked a 5-star hotel, and we said, looks like they're going to put money from our pocket. We don't know what's going to happen. People are going to come, not come. We said we should get at least 50 partners. If if we get 50 partners, we will be on the right track. We closed at 90 partners.
Wow. Wow.
We stopped sponsorships 1 month before the event. We said, sorry, we're all done. We don't have booths to offer. So that, yeah, absolutely. So
That's
that
a
was,
great problem to have.
yes, it's a wonderful problem to have. Let me tell you, such a wonderful problem to have. And that's when we said, I think the time has come. We need to now just focus on making it bigger. Just when we were thinking of making it bigger, 2019 December we had the event, and 2020 March our friend COVID came, right? So it changed the dynamics, everything. However, we somehow managed to go through the COVID, and 2023 we did our second event where 110 partners came for 2 days, 2 days, and 2024 we had our big 3-day event where 120 partners landed up. So
Wow. That's
and
fantastic.
and when I'm saying 3 days, you can understand we had it in Goa. Goa is a very happening place in India. A lot of beaches there. So we had a beach party, music, dance. It's like fun stuff, right? Okay. Absolute fun stuff. And you know what? The main thing why we feel there is this need for the community and the need for such an annual event is because now you don't have these inspires. We used to have Inspire events where partners would go connect with each other, connect with Microsoft. With that going out of the picture, I think IMCP events, annual events especially, are a great, great, great place. So our pitches experience Inspire at 20% of the cost. Very simple, right? So that's how it is. I'm very deep into the community, and currently I'm also the founder president for IMCP Asia Pacific. So I'm trying to build chapters in Australia, New Zealand, in Greater China, and hopefully we should have a very vibrant community like India in other parts of Asia Pacific also.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So, also, you mentioned beach parties and whatnot. Tell us a little bit. I know you're holding out on us. Your background with music. I hear that there's a band out there, possibly.
So, you only live once. I think a lot of people have said that, right? So we should have multiple facets to our personality. So one is I'm very passionate about Microsoft. I don't work in this field because I needed money to work, but it's because I love Microsoft. I love Microsoft technology. So I'm very passionate about that. So that's my passion number one. My passion number two is music. Okay, so I listen to music, I sing. I'm part of a band, music band in Mumbai city. We do 2 public shows where we have 600, 700 people coming in and clapping and shouting and dancing. So it's good fun. It's all good fun. So that's my another passion. And of course, my third passion is not really a great passion for many of my friends. I'm very passionate about desserts. I love eating desserts. I love experimenting with various desserts from various cities and countries and cuisines. So that's another area which I'm passionate about.
All right. Well, let me add, because I'm Italian American. So are cannolis on your top 10 list for desserts? Or
Absolutely.
absolutely, of course, right? Who doesn't like a cannoli? So,
well, gelato. Don't forget the gelato.
Don't forget gelato. That's right. Well, I really appreciate it. Well, it sounds like, Suresh, we could probably have a whole nother episode talking about all kinds of fun stuff. But back to profiles and partnership.
Absolutely.
Tell us, about TechGyan. What are the company's areas of specialization?
So we have been always big on modern work. The reason is modern work actually is productivity. So we are very passionate about productivity, about the processes which can help productivity. So in the good old days when we had this, before the cloud, we had Microsoft Small Business Server that was a hot product which had Exchange, it had SharePoint. So that was essentially a productivity piece, right? So from those days itself, modern work has been a big area for us. So that's been our major strength. In 2018, Microsoft moved into security. They launched Microsoft 365, which is actually nothing but Office 365 bundled with security. For us, it was very simple. We don't do too much strategization. We just look at where Microsoft is going and we just follow them. So we said, okay, Microsoft is getting into security. We are going to go into security. So we started our security practice. In 2020, we started our Azure practice. So currently we have these three areas. So we are an SMB focus, small and mid-sized businesses is our forte. And we have three service brands. We have one brand which is called branded Teamwork 365, which is productivity brand. So under that, we offer a lot of productivity services. We have Secure IT 365, which is security and compliance brand. And third is Data Center 365, where we talk of data center modernization and data center transformation. So, we do these three brands, and under these three brands, we've got various packages, for various things. Like, we'll have things like intranet, we'll have a document management system, we'll have co-pilot service, various things essentially. So essentially, SMB focused customers are SMB, brands are these three brands. From the product or vendor perspective, we are big on Microsoft 365 Cloud and Azure Cloud. These are the two things which we do.
All right. Well, that's great to know, Suresh. So let's get down to the story that got you this award. Can you tell us a little bit about the client that you worked with? You don't have to give us their name, but if you would share the size of that company, the industry they were in, all the technologies that you were implementing, and more importantly, the challenges that your client was facing. We'd like to hear about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this client is one of the largest conglomerates of India, easily among the top 10 conglomerates. They have multiple businesses. So for this particular case, they were doing a demerger and merger activity and setting up a greenfield essentially media setup, right? So when they were doing that, they needed few things to be done. They were hosted somewhere in a tenant. They wanted a tenant to tenant migration to happen for Microsoft 365. That was one area where they wanted, with all the needs and documents being moved from one tenant to the other. Then they wanted to set up a greenfield Active Directory setup, okay, with multiple technologies like VMware, Nutanix, Radius Server, all that involved multiple servers. Now here, the customer CIO had got a very strong reference of our company in the local CIO community. So, what happens is there's a CIO. India is, a very WhatsApp country, I should say. WhatsApp is very popular here. So there are these lot of communities which are there all over. So one of these communities is the CIO community of Western India. So he must have floated in that, okay, I'm looking for doing XYZ. So please suggest some partners. Now, whenever Microsoft comes into picture in Western India, our company is normally there because we have a very good brand recall for Microsoft technologies in Western India. So he got a good reference from us. For us, he reached out to me and he basically discussed his requirements. And he stated clearly that he's also reasonably new in the company. So he would like to work with our company because of the strong reference, and he wants a complete project to be done by us. So, essentially, this was the basic requirement which was there from the customer side. So that I'm talking. So the question was about the project. This was a project. You want to talk about the partnering later or now? Whatever choice is yours.
No, let's talk about partnering. Let's
Sure.
talk about
Sure.
the partner that you had and
Yeah.
what they were required to do and why
Okay.
you chose them.
So very clearly, as I mentioned, there were two requirements. Customer wanted a complete tenant to tenant migration for email and complete document migration, right? That's our strength. I mean, we do it, so we know how it is to be done. But the customer also wanted Active Directory 7, 8 AD servers with, VMware, Nutanix, all that kind of stuff. We have moved out of that area many years back. We no longer do on-prem work. No longer do that, right? So we told the customer, listen, let me do that first project for you. And then I will recommend you some partners. You talk to them and get your work done. He said, no, you are going to do both. Very clearly, it's not either or, you have to do both. And I would not want you to give up just for this, because we will do a lot of work in future, but I want you to do. Then I said, listen, I don't do this. He said, listen, can you take project management responsibility? I want you to bill me. Very simple. Because I want your company to be accountable. That yes, I'm billing you, so I'm guaranteeing things will happen. So, that was a big responsibility. That's where we reached out to this partner, Orient is the name of the company, Orient Technologies. They do a lot of work in on-prem stuff. They are a very reputed systems integrator. And we have done projects before. Both of us are part of IAMCP local chapter. Both are Mumbai based. So, I'm based out of Mumbai, city of Mumbai. That partner also has got a head office in Mumbai. So we spoke to each other, and the arrangement was very simple. Once we have finished with our tenant-to-tenant migration, we will make the project plan. We will do project management, and the folks from Orient will do the actual execution of the on-prem stuff, which is, the AD and the Redux server and all that kind of stuff, which is something which we don't do. So that was the basic idea. And based on that thought process, we got going on that. And that's how the whole thing happened, the partnering happened.
Yeah. How long did this project take?
One thing about these large conglomerates, they always look at the estimate of the time which we suggest, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
say, yes, now you do it in 25% of that time. That's how they work, essentially. Okay. So, same thing happened here. Tenant to tenant migration, I told them that it'll take around 35 days.
Mhm.
I got 15 days starting today. Wow. Okay. We finished that, and our team actually was doing the work and doing the migrations at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. at night. But it's okay, not a problem. That was a requirement. We finished that, and then the AD work. We said AD is very complex. It's going to take at least 10 weeks. He said, no, I got exactly 32 days. That's how they work. So again, pressure, unnecessary, undue pressure, you would call it. So we had to put in more people, get the work done, project management was done. And so essentially, around 15-20 days for tenant to tenant migration and 4 to 5 weeks for the AD project. That's how it is.
Clients like that are fun. You just brought back a lot of horrible memories for me. Instead of where I worked on a
Absolutely.
project where we had to migrate 15,000 people and they gave us 60 days to do it.
That's how
That
it
was it.
is. That's
And
how
we
it is.
got it done. It's hard work. It's hard work. So kudos to your team. Kudos to your team.
Absolutely.
So you said you worked with this partner. You knew them through IAMCP. What criteria did you have for choosing a partner like this?
I think the most important thing is there should be a culture match. First, we should look whether our cultures are compatible. That's very important. Now, for cultures to match, you obviously need to know the people concerned. So that's where IMCP played a big value, because we used to have our meetings, and because they would, the founders of those companies would sometimes come for the IMCP meetings. We got to know each other, we spoke to each other, and we felt we were comfortable with each other. I think that's very important. So that's something which we believe, that first build relationships, then build business. That's how the sequencing needs to happen, really speaking. So we had a healthy relationship with the founders. I personally, was friends with them because of IMCP, and then we've done one or two small projects in the past also. This is not the first project I did with them. We've done a couple of projects with them in the past. All the concept was very straightforward. Cloud part, we are good. On-prem part, we prefer to avoid. So whenever on-prem part comes into picture, we look at partners who have the requisite technical strength, ability, and the mind should be in sync. Our mind should be in sync, essentially. So that's how we went to them, and we execute the project. That's how it is.
Very good. Very good. I always appreciate, building those trust relationships with partners. That's so important. And IMCP is very, very good at that in teaching people how to build those trust relationships.
Absolutely.
This has triggered several questions. I mean, let me just piggyback on like the last point you mentioned about it's really important that from our minds be in sync. What are some practical steps you would say to ensure being the minds being in sync? Because I really like how you worded that.
So what happens is that when you say the mind's in sync, that first of all, if there is a reputation, we all have built certain reputations. So reputation counts. Number one. Number two, when you interact with the senior management of different companies, that's the time also you get to know whether you know we are thinking in a certain wavelength or not. That is another important thing. While all this is great, we always insist that there should be a proper NDA in place and proper MOU in place. That's something which we do not compromise. It's not that, oh, I know you, you know me, we are friends, we'll have some chocolate together and let's do the work. No, not really. Not really. The NDA, the MOU, we will not use it. We'll probably keep it, signed and keep it at a corner. But I always feel that's an important aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So we should have that in place. Not only that, and then you should see whether there's complementary stuff which you can do. See, for us, we don't do on-prem work at all. And when there will be projects which will come which will need some on-prem work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
In such a case, there's a clear complementary stuff in services which we are offering essentially. I think that's something which is also an important aspect. So it's a combination of these 4 5 things, really speaking. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the reason why, because some partners take a shortcut. They try to should I say rob your client is a very strong word, but yeah, sort of that way. But they miss the story. It's a the hen that lays a golden egg, right? That's the story we are talking about here. Yeah. If the relation is good, the hen will keep giving you one golden egg every day. If you cut it once, you lose all the eggs forever. That's the basic idea which we are talking about here.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to unpack this a little bit further, just because you've talked a lot about the importance of relationships and reputation, and how especially with the position that you guys are in, where you're working. What I heard is you tend to work with some of the larger enterprise type customers, but also that whenever there's some opportunities there in India, like you and Microsoft do a lot of work together, and so this is kind of a two part, but hitting on the same thing. The first part is because I know the opportunity came to you from the company's CIO, from the client, excuse me, the CIO got a strong reference from the CIO community that TechGyan is a highly capable partner for Microsoft technology. So so the first part is, what are some tips and things that you would recommend to other partners out there to how do you ensure to position yourself to have that same type of reputation, in their respective CIO communities to get more business?
So, first of all, you don't go out of the way to build reputation with CIO community. That's very important, right? You have to just focus on ensuring that you deliver high quality work. I know partners who take CIOs for dinner and all that. I have never done that. Believe me, I have never ever done that.
Not even
My
dessert?
No, I mean, I tell you what, the fun stuff. Let me digress a little bit. Uh, Post COVID, I stopped going to office. I started working from home and all that. So one of the new customers, we did a lot of work together. We During COVID, he came to me and we started working. Today, we are doing a lot of work for them in Azure, in Microsoft 365, in security. So once he said, Suresh, at least once come to my office. Let us meet once. I said, okay, no, I will come. It's not that I don't meet. I'll definitely come. So I went there. He took me around to his office. He said, see, he never goes, but he's come to meet us. And he introduced me to everybody. And then I said, shall I move? He said, no, wait for half an hour. I said, okay. I didn't want him to feel bad. Waited. He said, okay, now can you do me a favor, Suresh? Just call up your home and tell them that you are having dinner outside. So then we went for dinner. I said, okay, now when the check came, I said, I need to pay. He said, no way. I'm going to pay. You have come to my office. You don't go. I know you don't go. You have come to my office. You have been nice enough and you have been doing such great work for us. So how can I allow you to pay? I mean, that was, I said, I keep hearing that partners have to always foot the bill. Always when they go with their customers. This is the first time a customer is insisting that he will not allow me to pay. I said, okay. Yeah, these things happen. So, very interesting, very interesting. So, coming to your point, to your question again, I think we should identify, instead of we trying to be jack of all, we need to identify our niche areas and be brilliant in those areas. That's very important. Many partners I know, not just in India, I know some of my friends in advanced markets like US also, they do everything. They are not a very large company, maybe 20 people, right? Or 10 people, or even 5 people, but they will do hardware, they will do a router, they will do a firewall, they will do Cisco, they will do Google G Suite, they will do X, Y, Z. Fine. If you're doing that, then please be sure that you do that very well. What I mean to say is that you then ensure that you give great price and great coordination with the vendors for support. You be very clear about that. In our case, we are super clear. We are a Microsoft focused partner, number one. Within the Microsoft ecosystem also, we only look at productivity, security, and Azure infra. We don't even look at something like Azure data. As you know, Azure has got 3-4 areas, right? One is data and AI. We don't look into that. We just focus. We are obsessed with Azure infrastructure. We are obsessed with productivity. So, M365 productivity, we are gold. And we are absolutely clear on security. When I say security, again, I'm talking of M365 security. We don't get into security, multiple vendors, we do Palo Alto and this and that. Nothing. No. I don't understand anything. Talk to me, Microsoft, and I'll help you. The minute somebody says, okay, what about Business Central implementation? I say, hey, listen, Business Central, I can only give you licenses, but for deployment, I will connect you to Business Central partners because I don't do ERP, I don't do CRM. Very simple. So we have kind of maintained our focus in few areas, and in those few areas, we always try to be brilliant. That's very important. And while you have to try to be brilliant all the time, you have to ensure that you keep building your brand. The branding has to be there, which is where the awards from IAMCP become very, very useful. The Microsoft Worldwide Awards become very, very useful. Then your presence on social media, whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube, again that becomes very, very useful. So we are very conscious about our brand, and I'm personally involved with the marketing in our company. Because most of us, what we feel marketing is not a great thing to do, essentially. That's what many partners, IT partners I know believe. They say, oh, marketing, who wants to do marketing? Well, marketing is your brand. If you have a strong brand, it will attract business. And today we all know the days of you going out for business, it doesn't work. Today, customers know what they want, they search you here, there, everywhere, and then they come to you. So you need to ensure that you have a very strong brand. That's very important.
Yes and amen, especially as Rudy and I are partners in a marketing agency. So I'm going to quote you here on out to everybody I talk to. Suresh says,
Can, can we use
on
your
the,
name on our website?
yeah, that's it. That's it.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, it's a very sad fact. It's a very sad fact. And I have spoken to many large partners. They have no idea about what is this Microsoft DMC and PMC. Microsoft has got tons and tons of high quality resources on marketing, and 99% partners don't even know where they exist.
Yep. Yeah. You talked about so I'm going to get to the second part of the part two of
Sure.
my question, but I want to. You said something when we were talking about with marketing and social media and YouTube. Now, I know you've got quite an extensive or a pretty significant YouTube channel. Can you share with our audience a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, the YouTube channel, I started focusing a lot when Microsoft Cloud came into picture, right?
Hmm.
And before that, licensing, as we all know, Microsoft does such a wonderful job of licensing that very few people in the world understand it, right? That's how it is. It's so complicated. So I developed a video on licensing, Microsoft licensing, because it was becoming very tough for us, my team and me, to keep explaining to everybody what is this MULP, what is this paper license, and what is this, that, OEM. So I kind of came out with that video. It became very popular. And not only it became very popular, for me and my team, it was very simple. Anybody asking a question on licensing, we would just send them the YouTube link. That was how it was. And that's when I felt and realized the power of videos. So then we came out with a video after some time on Microsoft Exchange online, for example, right? That video has got 55,000 plus views.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, it just is, absolutely super, super, super popular. And
Hmm.
then because we were competing with Google Apps, in our space, Microsoft Office versus that. So I developed a nice cheeky video on Office 365 versus Google Apps. Again, like 35, 40,000 views on that. And the fun part is the comments. So the comments are a lot of Google fans, blowing me away. And before me trying to defend myself, Microsoft fans supporting me, said, no, he's right. What he's saying is absolutely right. I said, okay, good fun. So it was all good fun. And so my idea was that if I develop a video, and my videos, I try to put it in very simple language, because I I have this very strong opinion that Microsoft, unfortunately, the language they use in videos or in my documentation is quite complex. Okay. And I keep joking with my friends in Microsoft. I said, I'm not surprised that your videos are so complicated, because if you are going to pay somebody $40,000 for a video, they will produce something complicated. Because if they produce something simple, you'll ask them, "Oh, how can you give some simple video like this?" So, I keep
Hmm.
joking to them for that. Uh, so I have, whenever something new is there, I will come out with a video, publish it, and the idea is whenever a customer query comes in, there has to be a standard response. If
Hmm.
I'm giving a response, if my team experienced person is giving a response, if a fresh trainee is giving a response, the response should be standard. And how it can be standard? If the communication which we are sharing is standard, which
Hmm.
means a blog with some nice 2 3 paragraphs and with a video inserted. So
Hmm.
that's basically my strategy. Uh, my whole thinking is drive people to either my website or to my YouTube channel. Very simple.
Hmm. Hmm. And we'll have, for those who are listening, we'll have the link to that YouTube channel in our show notes. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now,
Absolutely.
I'd like to kind of like the part two, because we talked a lot about reputation and relationships. And you answer the question about having that reputation in the CIO community. But I kind of want to maybe shift it to part two is having that reputation in the eyes of Microsoft, as they're looking to, as you're, working with partners, on opportunities. Is there anything in addition to the three things that you've shared and those 3 points, obviously identifying, the areas that you can be brilliant at, right, is number one. Number two, when you after you've identified those areas, and that you can be brilliant at, focus on delivering high quality value. And number three was, just a conversation we just had about, having quality, branding and, that's involving like your messaging, your content, et cetera. Is there anything in addition to those three things that you would recommend to partners? Say, okay, you once you've done these three things, to continue that, to position yourself to be, as an attractive, partner for, Microsoft to collaborate on. What are some advice that you would have for them?
One very important thing which many partners miss out is alignment with Microsoft strategies. You know what? The funny thing is, I keep getting calls from partners in India saying that what incentive do I get for this? What do incentive I get for that? What program is available? I said, listen, you go to partner center, spend time there, understand what is available. Unfortunately, partners want to be busy with transactions, okay? Whether the material has got delivered or not, whether the billing has happened or not, collection, but they have no idea about the Microsoft partner program. It is, see, I only can talk about Microsoft because I only work with Microsoft, right? And with Microsoft, if you want to succeed, it's super important for you to align your company's with the Microsoft priorities for the year. Make use of the go-to-market programs which they have. Figure out which areas you will focus on. There is so many resources and so much money they have on the table which is going waste because partners are not utilizing it.
Mm. That can be an podcast episode in of itself. And I really, this is you're dispensing, gold here. I really appreciate it. I'd like to, if we can, maybe get back to the story. And so, as you talked about, obviously, a lot of the successes, you outlined the importance of, you talked about, culture match, being in sync, having, the proper MOUs and NDAs, and you've got, all this stuff in place. Did you guys have any, challenges during the engagement? And if so, how did you all work together to overcome it?
Well, are we talking about challenges in this specific partnering case or in
Yes.
general?
Let's maybe, if you have something about this specific engagement in which, then because you won the award for, that would be ideal. But if you have something else, maybe you want to share, outside of that, that I'll kind of defer to you on that.
Fun fact, this project was very complex, right? I mentioned about Nutanix, I mentioned about Redix, I mentioned about AD, very complex and extremely tight timelines. Considering all that, surprisingly, there were no challenges, major challenges. Very surprisingly.
Wow.
Absolutely no major challenges because of certain basics being followed, properly, right? The idea was, I'm a big fan of SOWs, right? I'm a big fan that, okay, your scope of work needs to be very clear unless and until the customer has signed off and verified and accepted the SOW with, the RACI matrix very clearly specified, that who's going to do what, who's going to be responsible. Take time there. Take time there. If you take time there, the future is going to be less headaches for you. Pretty simple. But unfortunately, what we as partners do, as soon as we get a PO, we want the money to come fast, and we want the only way to get the money fast is start delivering fast. My dear friends, You are not delivering an IBM server where you know that it's a box which has to be delivered and you will get paid. You are delivering services. And services, by the very definition, are very, very open ended. You need to define the scope of work in very clear cut terms. Spend time in that area, and then the subsequent things become very easy.
That's powerful. That is powerful. Rudy, did you have a question? I know you were talking earlier about with some of the partner experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Suresh, I like that last answer because having been in the business for over 30 years, I live that every day. And that one thing about planning and communications, so important in partnering success because you set the proper expectations. So that's great and wonderful. So going back to this particular story, you said this was a large conglomerate. Did this increase the customers? I know they were probably very satisfied with the work you did because they gave you very intense timelines to achieve, and you got that work done. Did it help them increase their revenue at all? And did you measure any of those? What were the KPIs that you measured?
So, number one, it was a greenfield project, right? So, being a greenfield project, that means they were really setting up their own IT for the first time. That's how it was essentially. That's how it worked. See, the group was a conglomerate, but this particular division was a new division for that group. That's how it was essentially. Okay. So, from the revenue perspective, I don't think it would be possible for us to measure the revenue perspective because it was a totally. But what we did do was that the amount of money which they were spending on resources which were like kind of outsourced or whatever, without the, here the here it was like the feedback which I got from the CIO was that in 18 months they recovered everything essentially, everything. That's a kind of 18 months ROI kind of a thing they said. So that was one area. But more than that, I think it was more of the mindset of the CIO. He was new to the firm. So he had his own worries that he should not fail, right? So what is happening here is that he played safe by releasing the purchase order on our company because he said, "Oh, I've got strong references, so if something goes wrong, I can always blame the partner because I selected a good partner, award-winning partner." The fact that we delivered and delivered on time, on extremely tight deadlines, all that mattered a lot, essentially. All that mattered a lot. And one thing which I'll just mention very interesting here, customer also wanted to purchase licenses from me. Okay. He said, you will give me licenses, you will give me services, you will give me everything. Unfortunately, in India, we have this trend, and I don't know about the other geographies. In India, there is a big chunk of partners who kind of undercut license prices. It's like they offer at below cost. That's how it is. Maybe to gain market share or what, we have no idea. So this gentleman also had the same issue. He got the price of licenses, which was like 15% below my cost. I said, I'm not interested. He said, no, 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 no. I want you to do everything. I told him, listen, I can understand that there are three elements. One is the license supply. Second is a tenant to tenant migration. Third is the AD and the infrastructure setup. I said, license selling is license selling. If there is a partner who is giving you at 15% below cost, take it from him. I will do the implementation for you. How will it change the whole project for you? It will not change the project for you. He got convinced. So he got a good deal from that partner. He got it at a very good price. I got my price for services. Believe me, I did not negotiate much. I said, you want to do business with TechGyan, you want to do business with Suresh Ramani, then you have to pay the price. You can't have apple to apple. In license, I can understand it's license is a license is a license. So there's not much which will change. But you can't say service is a service is a service. If you're saying service is a service, then go to that partner who's giving you cheap licenses. He said, no, Suresh, I was just joking. I'll go and purchase the licenses from there, but I'm going to come to you for services. So that's very interesting. He got a good deal on licenses. He got a good service on deployment of M365 as well as AD. So all in all, his stock within the company rose substantially. We have to look at, see, we have to think of that also. Did I make him look good? That's important. I should make my customers IT look good in front of their management. So I think that was the biggest takeaway from this project. I made him look very good.
Well, that is an excellent, business principle to follow all the time. Our job is to make our clients look good and demonstrate our expertise because that helps grow your brand and that helps grow your business tremendously. So
Yeah.
I appreciate the advice that you're giving there. So in trying to closing, this has been an excellent interview, and I really appreciate everything you've shared with us today. So, you work with a lot of IMCP customers, I mean, IMCP members, and you work with a lot of different customers. What advice would you give to our members, IMCP members, and other companies in regards to partnering? What you've demonstrated an awful lot, but do you have any other advice that you would give them?
So some of the advice which I'll give would be it's already available with IMCP, but we don't use it. So let me just state those. First is I'm saying that partnering needs to be strategic and not tactical. It's not deal based. That's important. You have to identify the set of partners with whom you're going to work and why you're going to work. For example, as I mentioned about this particular partner whom I work with because I don't do on-prem stuff. So if any on-prem work comes in which is critical, I'm going to work with a partner like him. Similarly, there are partners in our country, especially in Mumbai, who come to me for Microsoft. They say, I don't understand Microsoft. I will sell licenses and make my money. You do my email migrations, you do my data. So it has to be strategic. Point number one. The guidance, surprisingly, the guidance for this is already available on our IAMCP website. It's called P2P maturity model.com. I'm sure, if partners do a simple search, they'll go there and they'll see that there are, 4 partnering types, like basic, reactive, proactive, dynamic. It's so beautifully mentioned with NDA samples, MOU samples, and in basic what you do, what kind of planning you need to do. All that is wonderfully mentioned. So if at all somebody wants to start off systematically, please go to IMCP website and go to the maturity, the playbook and start looking at it. That's one important message I want to give. Second is understand what is a kind of partner. Who are you? For example, a partner like us, we are a specialist. For us, what is good? It's good to be focused on a very key technology stack. We don't want to do everything for everybody. We are hugely focused on modern work and security around Microsoft platforms. That's our focus area. Rest of the things we don't know. If you ask me, does Trend Micro solution do XYZ? I said, besides the spelling of Trend Micro, I don't know anything about it. Very simple. That's it. I don't know. I only know Microsoft. Talk to me about Microsoft. So we are a specialist. So either you have to be a specialist or you have to be a generalist. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you should be. And we should be in touch with a specialist like us, should be in touch with, a system integrator who does multiple vendors and multiple stuff for everybody. Essentially, that's how it should be. And you need to align with the right kind of partners. And your plan should be on a conservative level, 25% of my target is 20. My target this year is 30% of my revenue should come via partnering. 20%. Okay. Yeah. And when I say 30%, doesn't mean that people should come to me for partnering. It means I can also go and execute some projects through partners. So the total of giving and taking should constitute around 20% of my revenue. Technology is an ocean. And within this huge ocean, Microsoft is by itself an ocean. So much Microsoft is doing. We are small guys. We are so small. With our limited resources, we can't do everything for everybody. We have to identify what we are good at. And once you're good at, if you're a specialist, then you need to work with generalists. If you're a generalist, you need to have a kind of a liaison, or you build up a kind of a strategic group of generalists and specialists, so that as a group you offer an end-to-end solution to your customers, where every person in the group is getting something special. That's the whole idea. So combination of two things: A, go to partner, maturity playbook. A lot of great stuff there. Great, absolutely great stuff there. Mind-blowing stuff there, including MOUs and NDAs. Go through it, make your plans, then decide what you are, which game you're going to play. Align with the Microsoft priorities. Like Microsoft has listed, let's say, 5 priorities for FY25. Align with one or two of them, and then go really deep into those if you're a specialist. I mean, those are some of the things which I would like to, suggest.
Well, that is excellent, excellent advice. So I'm going to like to close off the interview with one really important question. It deals with specialization. What advice do you give partners about the best desserts to eat?
Oh,
I know
so
this is your area of specialty. So.
yeah, absolutely. I've got a solution partner designation in desserts. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I've done advanced specialization in desserts. Okay. One thing is very clear. We have to understand it's not just human beings who are sensitive. In my opinion, and I've got very strong reasons to say so, more than human beings, chocolates are very sensitive. So never ever distinguish between dark chocolate and light chocolate and white chocolate. Please love chocolates equally. Number one. Number two, experiment with the desserts, different desserts from different places. Believe me, it's. And I'll give you my story. Last year, when I was in Seattle, a friend of mine had just told me that there is this, excellent stuff which you get here. You go there. I traveled all the way, and I had gelatos in Seattle, and it was mind blowing. So learn to explore. It's so important that you should learn to explore and be open about it, because desserts also have feelings. So never ever say, I hate this dessert. Never ever do that. Please. It's just totally wrong. I get, it really hurts me when somebody says, I hate this dessert. It's not just correct. Absolutely.
I love your passion about desserts. I love your passion about desserts. And I'll send you a text, or I'll send you a message where my daughter sent me some excellent chocolates from a new chocolatier in the Netherlands. So they were the most wonderful things I've ever eaten. So I'll have to send you that link as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you so very much. I really appreciate this. This has been a most excellent interview. And you espouse a lot of the principles that we talk about at IAMCP, and the passion that you bring to it, because that is the right way to do business. So thank you so very much.
Pleasure. Absolutely wonderful interacting with all of you. Absolutely.
Yeah, this was, and I just to echo, Rudy, really appreciate it. This was fantastic, very insightful on across many fronts. Where can folks go to find out, more and connect with you?
So, a couple of ways. LinkedIn is one beautiful place where I keep interacting a lot with my friends on LinkedIn. Then, of course, as I said, YouTube is one channel where you can be in touch with me on YouTube. Absolutely, right? Leave your comments on my videos. Tell me whether I should make some different video which is of interest. And I also have my I should not say our company has got some workshops on Microsoft App Source, right? We've got workshops which have been published on App Source. We've got a Copilot workshop. We do a lot of workshops on Copilot, because there again, Microsoft is spending a lot of resources on Copilot, but customers are very confused. Essentially, I mean, that's my feeling. So we've designed a nice 1 hour workshops on AI and Copilot. I love doing that for my customers. I love doing that and telling them the real value of AI. So we've got Copilot workshop, we've got productivity workshop, and we've got a security workshop on app source. So that's some another place where you can check it out. And all in all, the uh, customers just come to me. They say, "Hey, my license are lying. I know 10% I'm using. Can you help me?" I say, yes, productivity is an area which I love, and I would love to do a workshop for you. So, I mean, those are some of the ways in which we interact. And of course, if you're a music buff, send me a message. I'll give you a YouTube link of my music YouTube channel. I don't mix it with technology. Okay, technology is
Absolutely.
different, YouTube is different. And if you love desserts, follow me on Instagram because my Instagram is all about desert videos and pictures. That's all about. Yeah,
Well, that's fantastic. So we will have in the show notes for those listening with the LinkedIn website. Definitely sounds like there's two YouTube channels, the Dessert Instagram, as well as the workshops. They're located in App Store. So we'll have all those links there in our show notes. Suresh, thank you once again. This was fantastic. You have a great rest of the day.
absolutely. Yeah. And tomorrow, as I said, I'm off to Seattle. So we'll be there for next week. Yeah.
Safe
Sounds good.
travels. Safe
Thank you.
travels.
Thank you.
Well, that was a great episode. I really appreciate a lot of the insights and just the some of the perspective and just some of the history that Suresh shared with us. I don't know about you, but I took away so many things from today's episode. In particular, one of the things that really resonated with me, Rudy, was just when we asked the question about how do you go about establishing your brand as a go-to resource, for partners and Microsoft, and he really hit on just the importance of building and maintaining his reputation, especially amongst like CIOs. And there were four things that he identified that I just kind of share here, and as we recap this, the first being just the importance of identifying the key areas and to be brilliant in these areas. Thought that was really solid. The second thing where he said, as you build on that, just the importance of focusing on delivering high quality work time in and time again. Number three, just the importance of branding. Whether it's and especially where Suresh really emphasized the importance of branding through social proofs and third party credibility builders like different awards, credentials, but then also internal things like some of the thought leadership and content marketing that they do. And the fourth, and this is might be last but definitely not least, just the importance of for partners to align themselves with the Microsoft strategies and taking advantage of the many available programs that Microsoft has to offer. So I thought that was really really insightful. How about yourself?
Well, I thought it was a great conversation with Suresh. I've worked with him many years ago when we were first trying to bring the India chapter into the IAMCP and started working with him back then. And I recognized the quality of his work and his perseverance in a project, because that was a pretty comprehensive and difficult project that we had to go through because of all the legal requirements in India. But one of the things that struck me was all those things that you just mentioned, which is what makes a really high quality partner, period, is delivering high quality work and aligning yourself with Microsoft. And when you're a member of the IAMCP, and this is something that we've stressed for 30 years now, is you if you work through the IAMCP, you will build long-term trust relationships that will help you in your business. And one of the things that we did there is, the IAMCP worked with IDC and Microsoft to develop the partner maturity model. And those of us who have been in the channel a long time follow that very, very carefully, because that gives you the guidance on how to become a good partner, how to build the trust relationships, how to leverage all the resources that Microsoft brings to bear to their partner channel. And if you follow that, then you're going to meet people like yourself and you develop into a really good partner. And you start working with a close circle of partners. And that's one thing Suresh also mentioned was he works only with IAMCP partners, and they have to follow the partner maturity model. And again, those are the things that is always stressed at IAMCP. So I really appreciated those comments because not everyone in the association follows those, but if you do, you will be very long-term successful.
No, that's really good. And just hearing you when you shared about like with the the P2P maturity model, it reminded me of actually a couple other things that he said. Like towards the end, when you asked the question about well, what advice would you give to partners? And one of those things was definitely that guidance you get on IMCP through that P2P maturity model. But the other two things, just to kind of piggyback on what you just shared, was just how, and he mentioned this a few times. I really like this phrase that partnering needs to be strategic, not merely just tactical. I thought that was really key, especially with going back to the earlier points about building your brand, how you want to position yourself as a go-to partner. And then the second thing would be just to understand what kind of partner you are and what kind of partner you want, so you can then align with the right partner. And as he touched off that point, he said the reason why that's important because as you're growing your business, you want to try and get to where 20% of your revenues are coming from partners. So I thought that was really, really good.
Yeah, that was just excellent advice from Suresh. It really was. Well, that concludes our episode for today. So we want to thank you for joining us on this episode of IAMCP Profiles in Partnership, powered by Dunamis Marketing. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and find it useful and inspiring. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on social media and connect with us on our website, www.iamcp.org, where you can find more information, resources, and opportunities to partner for success. One of the best ways to partner for success is to join IAMCP, a community of Microsoft partners who help each other grow and thrive. IAMCP members can find and connect with other partners locally and globally and access exclusive resources and opportunities. Whether you're looking for new customers, new markets, or new solutions, IAMCP can help you achieve your goals. To learn more, visit their website at www.iamcp.org.